You either have it or you don't. It's just something that you're born with. It takes a special kind of person to be a certified lover boy. Only the greats have been able to call themselves this term, from legends like anyone named Justin to Drake. One legend in the fictional world that many forget to mention is the legendary Keima Katsuragi. It's said that man never stops and never fails once his conquest begins. His extensive resume backs this up. From classmates to teachers, the legend grows. Now, enough with the jokes. As a genre, harem anime has one of the lowest ratings. Rather than telling a compelling story, this genre emphasizes for the viewer.
Nice.
Male characters are bland for self-insert, and the female characters are cardboard cutouts. So, what happens when you get a harem anime that knows what it's doing? One that makes effort to build its main character, female cast, and the story. Well, I'm not even sure what you would get, but I do know that it only exists in a world God only knows. In this video, we'll take a look at the techniques used to build the cast and story of the world God only knows, while trying to figure out the story's meaning and what makes Keima Katsuragi a certified lover boy. Keima Katsuragi is not your average high school student. He's the master of games, or better, the god of conquest. He has many interests, but his most important are girls, the virtual kind. In Katsuragi's eyes, the real world doesn't make sense. He even goes as far to say he's only attracted to girls in games. As a general rule, Katsuragi believes that people should act as he expects them to, given what he knows to be true. This can be seen when Ayumi crashes into Katsuragi in the first episode. After insulting and running into him, she puts him on cleaning duty. In Katsuragi's world, this is not something you would do if you wanted someone to do something for you. These details might seem meaningless, but they give clues in how Katsuragi sees the world from his perspective. Getting someone to do something for you takes thought and planning, just like if you were to play a dating sim and try to get the perfect ending. This level of detail makes Katsuragi the perfect lover boy. He can understand the girls he's pursuing and uses that understanding to make a plan. This can be seen with Mio. She's introduced to the audience as a rich girl, but we later find out she's not as rich as we thought. Despite the tragic passing of her father, Mio still maintains her previous lifestyle, even though she can't afford it. Katsuragi notes this and uses the secret of Mio not being rich as an opportunity to grow closer to her. Katsuragi comes up with a plan of being Mio's chauffeur, since her former driver quit. With Katsuragi already confessing his love to Mio and making himself a part of her life, he connects with her. All of Katsuragi's efforts hit their climax when he takes Mio to a high-class party. We find out that Mio trying to keep her rich facade is actually about Mio trying to keep the image of her father alive. Katsuragi can see this by noticing that Mio didn't burn the incense for her father. As Katsuragi considers the end of this conquest, he tells Mio that her father is happy, and she must also live to make herself happy. Now for the breakdown of what makes this episode work. When it comes to writing characters, there's some things you should keep in mind. One thing is that irony drives all meaning. Irony has several definitions, but for this video, we'll use Matt Bird's definition in his book, The Secrets of Story. According to Bird, irony is the meaningful gap found between reality and expectation. To know when a situation is genuinely ironic and not just a coincidence, Bird explains that in truly ironic instances, a character is trying to prevent an unwanted outcome or preserve a false expectation. A classic example of this is Pain from Naruto. You would expect a character that goes by the name of Pain not to fight in the name of peace, but that's actually what Pain does. Another example of this is Mob from Mob Psycho 100. Mob is one of the most powerful espers in the world, but what he wants most is to just be normal. The world God only knows uses this technique in writing its female cast. At first glance, Mio appears wealthy, but in reality, she isn't. This can also be seen in other conquests like Kanon. Kanon is a famous idol. On the outside, she's popular and can conjure the host of fans when needed. However, inside, she's insecure and thinks of herself as a normal girl. It gets to the point where she has an existential crisis if people don't recognize her. Our certified lover boy exploits this weakness of Kanon to reach his goal. By using irony, the world God only knows creates believable female characters. It may be surprising, but much of the female cast feels fleshed out despite having little screen time. In the process of saving the girls from the demons possessing them, we learn more about our lover boy and how he picks up girls. Katsuragi uses methods that he learned from playing dating sims in his conquests. One method he uses is not to focus on making a good first impression, but making any impression so the girl knows he exists. Another method is finding out what's troubling the girl and becoming the thing that helps solve the problem. We see this with Katsuragi being Mio's driver and Kanon using him to stay visible. Katsuragi's final step is to build upon his foundation by interacting with the girl by taking a more offensive role. In dating sim terms, Katsuragi has to build more events to fill the love meter. Katsuragi even changes his personality for most of his conquest. Usually, he is distant and aloof, only paying attention to his games. Whereas, when he's on the offensive side of his conquest, he turns into the girl's dream guy, which is not what Katsuragi is. At first glance, his procedural method of saving the girls is almost devoid of being human. But we learn throughout the story that he still thinks about the girls, even though it's all an act. Many ethical problems arise when being a certified lover boy. One is coming to terms with that you're not really who you're pretending to be, and playing with other people's hearts. In the first 2 seasons of The World God Only Knows, this problem is no issue, since each conquest forgets what happens to them. This allows Katsuragi to avoid the undesirable outcomes of his conquest. He doesn't have to worry about girls getting jealous or love triangles. He almost gets close to one in Season 2 when conquering Chihiro. She can be characterized as just an ordinary girl. Katsuragi even refused to conquer her since the normal girl aesthetic is not fitting for a dating sim. Chihiro's situation is similar to Katsuragi's in that she rejects reality by not trying her best and confesses her love to people without really liking them. Ironically, this angers Katsuragi since he believes in real love. Real love is supposed to be powerful, and if you can just get over it, then you were never in love. Despite what Katsuragi does in the show, those words show how he really feels. Chihiro attacks Katsuragi for getting involved in her business, and Katsuragi reveals another part of his character. He reveals that he was worried for Chihiro after he and Elsie saw her crying after getting rejected. Katsuragi tries to hide this and insults Chihiro. She insults Katsuragi back, pointing out that everything he dislikes about her also applies to him. This breaks Katsuragi and turns him into a cockroach. When he finally recovers, he starts giving Chihiro pointers on getting guys, but finds out that she likes him. Out of all the girls we've seen Katsuragi conquer, Chihiro's the one that gets to see the true version of him. No act, no script, no pretending. Just Katsuragi's authentic self. She even makes him challenge his worldview. In episode 7 of season 2, we see Katsuragi chase Chihiro to a ship. Chihiro mentions how they're similar in that they both ignore reality. He tells her that he may have given up on the world, but that doesn't mean that he's given up on himself. It's ultimately up to him to decide what life he will live. Katsuragi seems almost completely different from the character we met in season 1. He's now able to appreciate life and understand he controls it. The girl he thought was average in every way is actually the most challenging girl for him to conquer, and someone he really cares about. In the final season of the show, the game completely changes. Kanon confesses her love to Katsuragi. Goddesses are now believed to be in the girls that Katsuragi already conquered. Our main character must find out which girls have a goddess in them and conquer them all over again. This is a clever way of adding tension and changing the already established formula, but it goes further as Kanon is attacked and put in an unconscious state. This places a time limit for when Katsuragi has to complete his conquest, and now adds the element of suspense. Will Katsuragi be able to narrow down which girl doesn't have a goddess? Will Katsuragi conquer the girls in time? Will he completely ruin his social life? These are all questions that add to the quality of Season 3. Now that things are serious, the games are over, and this includes Katsuragi. He takes Kanon's attack personally as if it was his fault, showing yet again that he does care about the girls. Katsuragi shows new levels of determination. He plans to conquer more than one girl at once, but this could be a problem. First, most of the girls he conquered go to the same school, which can be a problem if they see Katsuragi with another girl. Second, Chihiro and Ayumi are friends. Now we finally have that classic love triangle. In episode 7 of season 3, Katsuragi has overworked himself to exhaustion and sickness. This triggers the sick event. With the sick event, Katsuragi uses his illness to grow closer to his conquests. Knowing that Katsuragi's sick, Chihiro and Ayumi go out of their way to see how Katsuragi's doing. This wasn't the plan, but Katsuragi must still find some way to manage both girls to find a desirable outcome. The scene where Ayumi hides under Katsuragi's covers keeps us at the edge of our seats, since there's so much at stake. The show keeps pushing the boundaries by allowing the characters to slip, and switching to Katsuragi's wit to escape the mess. This can be seen when Ayumi's feet are exposed, and Chihiro notices how big Katsuragi is. This makes the audience think Katsuragi might be able to pull it all off. But he doesn't. Ayumi finds out that Chihiro loves Katsuragi. Things come to their climax in episode 8's rooftop scene. In this scene, our lover boy finally has Chihiro alone. He can find out if she has the goddess in her. It's his chance, but he discovers this is Chihiro's first kiss. This means that she doesn't have a goddess. Katsuragi goes back to his old way of thinking, but he hesitates. Why would Chihiro like him even though she doesn't remember the conquest? Katsuragi learns that you don't need elaborate schemes for someone to like you. Life isn't a video game. Sometimes people will just like you for who you are, and it can be natural. No games, no lies, no conquests, just being you. Now in a complicated situation, Katsuragi still has to prioritize getting the job done, so he goes for the nuclear option. Our lover boy does what he's supposed to do and lies to Chihiro, saying that the only reason he chose to go out with her was to get revenge for all the times Chihiro made fun of him. While lying, Katsuragi can't even look Chihiro in the face. Embarrassed, she runs away, leaving Katsuragi. Things get worse. Ayumi, Chihiro's supportive friend, watched everything. Now confronted by Ayumi, Katsuragi returned to his old bag of tricks, but it fails. At this point, our lover boy's hit the lowest point and acknowledges being a jerk.
Yeah. That's me, alright.
To save the world, he must accept that he rejected someone who genuinely liked him for who he was. The world God only knows is a lot of things, but it knows what it's doing with its story. It takes the wacky and out there concept of a dating sim gamer picking up girls to save the world to a story about trying your best in life, overcoming your weaknesses, and discovering what love means. We can see this from the very end of the show. Chihiro's on stage with her band, something she worked hard to make and prove that she's not complacent. In the song, she sings about her first love, Katsuragi. On the other hand, he regrets what he told her on that rooftop, even coming to tears, showing what it means to be a lover boy.